hope you're all doing well on this lovely day, and welcome to the last day of the TTG festival. I'm really pleased to be joining you today to tell you a little bit more about AE Expeditions and our sustainability journey. So just a little bit of history about who we are. So we are part of Aurora Expeditions, which is an Australian-owned brand. We have been taking guests to the polar regions for over 33 years. We were founded by legendary adventurer Greg Mortimer. Greg and his wife back in 1991 decided they wanted to share their experiences with the rest of the world, and they started up Aurora. They started by taking their friends and family, and that's where we've grown and blossomed from. But we were founded on the principles of adventure, exploration and discovery, but in the most respectful way. And that's something that we still hold true to everything that we do today. We are all about small ship travel to some of the world's most remote destinations. And with that in mind, we think that sustainability is one of the most important things that we can be doing as a company. So we have two incredible ambassadors. We have our wonderful Greg Mortimer, who was the guy that set us up. He was the first Australian to summit K2 and Mount Everest without supplementary oxygen, and he truly believes in small ship, respectful travel. And then we're so proud to be joined by Dr. Sylvia Earle. Now, Dr. Sylvia, for those who may not be aware of who she is, she was Nat Geo's first ever hero of the planet. She's an incredibly inspiring woman. She is a naturalist, an oceanographer, a diver, and a conservationist. And she's created an organisation called Mission Blue. And I would highly urge you to have a Google of Dr. Sylvia and Mission Blue. What Mission Blue hopes to do is to protect around 30% of the world's oceans by 2030. And it hopes to do so by creating these areas called hope spots. And these hope spots are kind of like our national parks, but in the oceans. And they are dotted across the globe, but it's an incredible organisation. And we're really proud to be working in collaboration with Dr. Sylvia and with Mission Blue as well. She is pretty much the David Attenborough, but for oceans, is the best way to describe who Dr. Sylvia Earle is. But just moving on to our sustainability journey, we are so incredibly proud that we have been certified B Corp as of this year. Now, this is no mean feat, and there are lots and lots of hoops to jump through to become one. The B stands for benefit for all, and it shows that certified companies are balancing purpose and profit. So when you are looking at companies to recommend to your clients, you can guarantee any company with a B Corp certification is looking after the environment and sustainability as well. Now, the standard sets out, takes in 5 different impact areas: the community, governance, environment, workers, and customer. So you can see that it's an all-rounded approach to sustainability, looking at ethics, communities that we visit, and the communities that we work in on top of the environment as well. So we're incredibly proud, and we hope that lots more expedition and cruise lines join us on this B Corp journey. We released last year our first ever impact report, which can be found on our website, and it goes into a lot more detail about our sustainability journey, about what we have been doing, but also what we're looking at doing in the future. Now, this is something that we will be publishing every 2 years, and we will be held accountable for the actions that we published within last year's sustainability report in next year's as well. So keep an eye out next year for our next sustainability report. It can all be found on our website under our sustainability hub as well. But just to kind of delve into some of the areas that impact report kind of goes on to. So as part of our ongoing commitment to sustainability, we have identified 7 out of the 17 SDGs that were adopted by the United Nations that are areas that we need to focus on. So these include quality education, and we do this by our onboard lectures from expedition teams. We have a library full of resources, citizen science programs, women in conservation, decent work and economic growth, so building a sustainable food program and supply chains, industry, innovation and infrastructure, which is on our ships, which I'll touch on, responsible consumption and production, which is reducing our food waste, and annual greenhouse gases as well. Climate action, so climate neutrality, greenhouse gas reduction plans, life below water, sustainable food programme, and partnerships for the goals. So we work with AECO and IATO, and I will be touching on some of our partnerships in a little bit. So we have been climate neutral since 2021. Now, we achieved this, we measure scope 1, 2 and 3. So we not just measure our own kind of greenhouse gases, we also measure our suppliers' greenhouse gases as well, and we compensate for that in line with science-based targets. Now, we compensate for our greenhouse gases with South Pole. Now, this is a big step towards our sustainability goals. However, we know that this is just the first step, and there is a lot more work to be done to be reducing our greenhouse gas emissions. We work with two fantastic organisations to compensate for our greenhouse gases, and we purchase verified carbon credits from climate action projects. So some of the projects that we've supported through this programme include Eco Australia, which have 2 gold standard verified projects. So we support biodiversity projects within Australia, our home turf, where we protect over 200 hectares of environmentally and culturally important land that has been cleared for agriculture. And then we also work closely with a project in Taiwan, which is working towards renewable energy. And as I mentioned, we know that this is just the start of our climate project that we have at Aurora Expeditions. So moving on to our wonderful ships and how they have made a huge difference in our sustainability journey. Our ships have revolutionised expeditioning world. We were the first ever to introduce the Ulstein X-bow right at the front of the ship. So you can see it looks a bit funny, looks like it's a kind of a spaceship, but this is designed to break through the waves, so it reduces the impact that the ship hits the waves. And in turn, it reduces the slamming loads, and it allows the ship to absorb the waves' force more evenly, which means that it can keep the speed of the ship and the acceleration, which ultimately improves fuel efficiency and reduces our emissions. So on average, the X-bow means that our ships will use up to 60% lower energy consumption, which is incredible just by changing the design of the bow. All of our ships are equipped with technology that will allow us to connect to shore power, which again will reduce our fuel consumption. The challenge that we have is that in many remote location ports, there just is no infrastructure for these shore powers. However, we are doing what we can to improve that for them. We also use marine gas oil, which is a better alternative to heavy fuel, as it has a lower sulfur content, which kind of basically is the main contributor to greenhouse gases. We also reuse the heat from our engines to heat the ship and also to heat our water. We also have this incredible dynamic anchoring where we're able to use this technology so we don't have to put our anchor down into the water, so we protect the seabed. We've just introduced a sustainable food programme where we have now worked with local producers and local farmers, both in South America and Europe, to provide our food on board. As well as this, we also have a no seafood day on the 6th day of every single voyage where we don't serve any seafood whatsoever, and that's to raise awareness of overfishing within the industry. We have amazing partnerships, which I won't go through all of them because I just don't have time, but some of the most incredible ones are Upschool. We're really proud to be working with Upschool. Now, this is an incredible programme that has created this programme for children who are less fortunate, that aren't able to perhaps go to school or able to kind of visit these destinations, and it brings together teachers and children and educates them on sustainability, but also on the world as well. As part of our partnerships, we also invite our guests to take part in citizen science projects. We have 8 projects that we take part in, and what better way to create ambassadors for our planet than to invite our guests to take part in these projects. This is where guests will take part in real science projects and studies and kind of give back really useful data. So, for example, we do the cloud survey for NASA, where we work in conjunction with their satellite going overseas. We look up and take photos of the clouds, and NASA's satellite takes the photos above, and it helps us get a better understanding of the weather patterns and our environment, and of course, global warming as well. An incredible partnership that we have just joined is the Oxen Expedition Network. Now, this is an incredible not-for-profit organisation founded by a former expedition leader and guide. And what this is doing is supporting local perspectives and businesses within the Arctic. So we get on board our expedition leaders, which are local Inuits. Now, they are on board to talk about their experiences and their journeys and their lives as a local Inuit. Now, they make up part of the expedition team, and they are on board to kind of choose when they would like to talk about their lives. And it's kind of taking it back from having people that have studied Inuits and local communities and giving it back, giving the power and, of course, a lot more freedom for these people. We also support lots of local communities. So whilst we're in our home ports, we employ local tour guides and transfer companies to provide local expertise and transportation for guests. What better way than to learn from the locals? We are also, on average, a 46.5% female workforce. So across both our head office and our expedition team, we speak over 15 native languages, and we seek to create a diverse workforce that truly represents the people of the world. Now, I've only kind of covered a very short amount of time for us. So if you want to learn a little bit more about what we do, then you can find all of this information on our website under Travel Agents. Now, within here, you can find more webinars on our destinations and our ships and our sustainability journey. You can also find incredible tools and images and videos within here for you to be able to utilise. However, we've also created an incredible area for you. So please do go on and scan this QR code. It will take you 30 seconds, and there is a load of content within there, whether it's on Antarctica, the Arctic, or on our sustainability, just about what we are doing. And you can co-brand that, add your call to action and a message to your customers as well, and send it out via social media, LinkedIn, or WhatsApp or email as well. And it does it all for you. It is an incredible tool and it makes your life so much easier. But if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to pop me over an email or pop it into our chat here as well. And I will take a look to see if there are any questions. But of course, please go ahead and like our Facebook pages and social media pages there. And we update anything else that you might need to know about sustainability within here. But that brings me to the end. So I don't think there are any questions in the chat, but please do pop them on if there are any. But thank you all for joining me, and enjoy the rest of the festival.